Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my first community cast game. These are games that are sent in to me, and I cast them if they look entertaining. So, let's introduce the players for tonight. In the red, we have TaintedMuffn versus the blue Zerg, BLOODLUST. I believe this was a master level game, and apparently BLOODLUST remembers TaintedMuffn. And TaintedMuffn remembers him, so apparently we have a bit of a rematch going on here. And a bit of BM, we have You Can't Spell Anything, and BLOODLUST saying, You did gas all in. So are we going to see some one-base play by the Terran, as BLOODLUST would have us believe? Only time will tell. BLOODLUST is now implying that the Terran knows only that one build, and begins early with the insults. TaintedMuffn picks up the gauntlet, and he is going to do the same build again apparently. So apparently BLOODLUST knows what's coming, but it's going to remain a surprise for us for a little while. And BLOODLUST is eager to see that his challenge has been accepted. So maybe we have some bit of metagaming going on here. We're trying to get inside each other's heads. You do see that from time to time when you play the same people. As I was saying, guys, this is a community cast game, so I'm going to put my email in the description below, and you can email me. And if the game looks good, from any level, I'll cast it if I can find the time. From bronze to grandmaster, send them in. And if it's below masters, then I can try and give you some tips as well. And it might be a bit of fun. So, looks like the Zerg opted for a 14 gas, 14 pool expansion build. And he's also stealing the Terran's gas. So it looks like the Terran won't be able to do any really quick siege tanks or 2-port Banshee play. It's not very common though at this level, at least in my experience. The Terran is now returning with his scanning SV. Seems to have confirmed he's not doing any quick pull antics. Looks like he's going to go for a reactor, so he's probably going to go for the reactor Hellion build, which is very popular at the moment. Of course the Zerg has stolen his gas, but you only need one gas for this build. And we do have the factory coming down for the Terran. Now because the Zerg's stealing his gas, by cancelling the drone he loses 6 minerals every time, but it prevents the Terran from getting this up, and you're going to need about 3 marines to actually kill the extractor going up. But the Terran seems to was already going for the reactor Hellion build, which you only need one gas for, so I actually think this plays into the Terran's hands. It sort of just wastes the Zerg's time and minerals. Sometimes you can get that drone around here and try and scout the rest of the base, but with 2 marines here, I don't think it's going to happen. The Zerg is now throwing down the expansion at 23 supply, and TaintedMuffn is confused as to why someone would do this extractor trick over and over and over, and it's up to 4 minutes in the game, so it's actually quite a determined extractor steal. The factory is about to jump onto the reactor here. It looks like the Zergling came up to scout, and the expansion is down, so the Terran will be expanding out of this. And now we have the double Hellions coming out. The Zerg has thrown down the Roach Warren in response. And the supplies are relatively even at the moment. So when these Hellions get out, the Terran's going to have a lot of map control for a while. Even if the Zerg does get these roaches out, he really needs to leave some at home to defend, and if he goes to chase the Hellions can just run around them, so it looks like the Hellions are now moving out, and the Zerglings are trying to escape. But it looks like they're going to get roasted by these Hellions. The Zerg also tried to send an Overlord in, but it was killed. So that puts the Zerg behind in supply for a moment. Baneling Nest coming out, and a lot of Zerglings coming out for the Zerg player, and it looks like he's trying to take them out of the base. Is he going to try and swoop around from here and get the Hellions? There's 4 of them though, so it'd be very hard to attack, and no, it looks like he's just going behind here, so it looks like he might be doing a counterattack. Of course these Hellions will be able to kite this Queen, as the creep hasn't extended far enough yet, and I've got to think this Queen is going to go down. And, oh, look at that roasted Queen. Terran is being very vigilant at taking out these creep tumors, and this is really annoying when you've invested in those early creep tumors to connect the bases. That's going to put the creep back by quite a lot actually, because he's going to need to keep injects up, so he's not going to have any loss on queen, so he won't be able to put down any creep tumors for a while. The roaches are now out, however the Hellions have already retreated to base. Looks like the Zerglings tried to find an avenue of attack. Well, of course with that Terran wall in, they're not going to be able to do that much for a while. He could be going for an all-in with Banelings, and yes, he is now morphing Banelings. But the siege tech timing on this build is probably going to line up with that. The Hellions are now scouting. Is he going to spot the Banelings? And looks like he missed them. Very fortunate for the Zerg that he didn't see that. Of course, these 4 Hellions are now on semi-low health except for the one Hellion. But if they're controlled right, then their HP is not going to matter very much. One Zerg trying to get some scouting information out. He wants to see if the Terran's expanding. Of course, he did see the expansion going up. It looks like he's going to wait till he builds up his forces before he expands. He gets one Marauder out, and that Marauder is to tank the Banelings, I would imagine. There's only 3 roaches on the field. And it looks like the Terran is now fortifying his position at the natural with 2 bunkers. Siege tech timing is finishing up just about now, and the Zerg has not used his counterattack yet. He may be waiting for the SCVs to transfer. If Terran's quick enough, he'll be able to pull them off, and it'll just draw them into the siege tank fire. So it is now about 9 minutes 30 into the game, and the Zerg has not yet gone for layer tech. The Hellions are moving out of the base again. It looks like they're going to go clear the watchtowers, however there is a roach there. So he might lose his Hellion. No, but he pulls them off. And he's going to lose a Hellion here, so no, very good control by the Terran. We still have the Zerg's counterattack waiting here. He may be waiting for the Terran to move out. Terran's scanning for the 3rd. And 5 more roaches in production for the Zerg. The Zerg is a little bit ahead in drones, but the Terran is ahead in supply. Looks like the Terran put off a small force here. See that Marauder takes all the Baneling fire. That was a nice little group he sent after it, not the entire amount of Marines, just in case there was more units back there. So, good move. You don't want to always send your entire army to deal with a small group of units. The Zerg has powered up to about 40 workers now. Almost completely saturated on his bases. He is now getting his 3 gases. And he has yet to start a layer. From what he said at the beginning of the game, he may have been expecting a 1-base timing push by the Terran, and maybe that's why his layer seems to be a bit late. Of course, if you get inside your opponent's head, sometimes you think you're playing about what they're going to do, but you actually kind of just hurt yourself sometimes. And interesting, the Terran has opted to wall off this counterattack path with 2 supply depots. And I'm a bit curious why that is. He may want to use this as a gateway sometime, but it's usually a lot better to wall off with an engineering bay. It's cheaper and has more HP. It may be that he wants to expand here later in the game, and if roaches are attacking his SCVs from here, he'll want to attack through there. So the Zerg is now getting up his 3rd. Layer about halfway complete. And he has his units in the middle here. Now the Zerg is going to want to catch the Terran before it gets to his base and sieges up in here where it's harder to attack. Bad time to morph those Banelings. It looks like these Marines are going to be able to stem and take out all these Banelings, and with siege tanks going up, with no centrifugal hooks, there's no way these Banelings will connect. The Terran's stemming forward and trying to take out these units. Stem fades though, and he retreats back to his tank line. So we have a couple of Banelings here waiting at the 3rd for the Terran. He has started his expansion. And it looks like the push has started. Now the Zerg's in a really bad spot here. He's down about 30 supply, and he's a bit behind in tech. Centrifugal hooks are still about another 90 seconds out, and he's just started his upgrades for melee attack, and the Spire is a long way off. So he's not going to have any mutalisks to be able to take out these siege tank, so it's going to be really hard for him to beat this army. Now the Terran is now leapfrogging his way up with the siege tanks, and I don't think the Zerg's going to be able to get really close to these siege tanks. He really wanted to deal with this force before it got to the base. Once he sieges outside the expansion, the Zerg's not going to have a lot of options. Looks like he's counterattacking though. And oh, nice flip by the Marines. Takes out that one bunker, but it looks like he pulled all his SCVs, and he's actually dealing with this counterattack really well. Takes out a few SCVs, took out 5, but the Terran is now about 50 supply up. TaintedMuffn is explaining how bad the Zerg is. Should remember though guys, just because someone's worse than you doesn't make them completely horrible. And apparently your Fudge King bad BLOODLUST. Don't think a J is supposed to be in there. And TaintedMuffn is imploring the Zerg player to stop playing the game. And that was another nice split by these Marines. Really good control with these Marines actually. Unfortunately there's a shortage of medevacs because of the timing of this push. And they're out of energy now from healing the Marines. So these Marines have about 1 stim left in them, and that would take them down to about 1 or 2 HP. The nail on the coffin has already been set for the Zerg, and the Zerg leaves the game. So bad luck for Bloodlust. Good timing push by the Terran. Thanks for watching guys, and if you've got a replay you want to send me, send it in the description below, and I'll check it out. So thanks for watching guys, and see you later.